Hi everyone, Harry here to talk about another plainly lawless assertion by Donald Trump that could never stand up in court, but is designed and may in fact be able to really frighten and harass his political enemies. Okay, we could have seen this coming. He had been talking of late in his endless stream of insults of Biden about the use of an autopen. And the suggestion when I heard it first was, oh, lazy Joe Biden. Can I just tell you, autopens are a huge feature in the federal government, including at the U.S. Supreme Court. That you get the real signature of someone and you program a pen in a machine and it just signs it out with the actual signature. Been used for 50, 60, 70 years, and there's a opinion by the Office of Legal Counsel saying this is a valid, if you have a signature done by autopen with the, there are certain basic things you've got to do and the official autopen and the like, that's totally fine. Okay. But Trump, social media this morning says that Biden pardons. Now, this would apply to any time anyone used an autopen, but he's saying the Biden pardons are void and vacant, including he singles out the select committee members of January 6th, who he implies he's going to go after now because the pardons are hereby declared. That would be declared by him. Void, vacant, and of no further force of effect because of the fact they were done by autopen. Okay. On the one hand, it's a joke. And, you file it in maybe the class of assertions that anybody, including his most nut-wing advisors, will tell him this isn't going to fly eventually. Although it turns out there's actually a kind of conspiracy theory, nut-wing trope in some hyper-conservative social media that has been making this claim. It's a perfect kind of urban myth, right? Oh, there's no effect if they were done with autopen. And so it shows that, where Trump travels and where he gets his news from. But this will never fly, and, you could think of it as even farther out, far more crazy than the birthright citizenship effort that they're doing, and in some ways as being nevertheless pernicious just because having a few totally crazy legal claims out there makes the rest of the pretty damn crazy claims harder to shoot down, maybe. So far, courts haven't had much trouble shooting down the pretty damn crazy claims. But the bigger point is, and this is what's tragic and what is so vicious and despotic about the 47th president of the United States. You're Liz Cheney now. You're Jamie Raskin. You know that he's a madman. You also know there are a few judges. Let's say he tries to maneuver to get a grand jury seated in the Southern District of Florida and overseen by Eileen Cannon, or the Northern District of Texas by Matt Kaczmarek, and they start doing stuff that's plainly illegal. But in the meantime, it has real world consequences for you. A subpoena shows up. This would be actually a very tangible kind of concern. He orders the DOJ to open a grand jury investigation. That's completely unlawful. That's why people have resigned. But he's got flunkies there who will now do it. They do it and they subpoena records, say, from Raskin or Cheney. And Raskin and Cheney come in and say, you can't do this. I have a pardon. And they go to court and say, I don't have to comply with this subpoena. And, for example, let's say the administration now says, well, that's not ripe yet. We haven't done anything. We're just doing an investigation. In other words, there are manifold ways in which a bad faith administration just looking for nasty reprisals and unconcerned about abuses of executive power can still make trouble for Trump's political enemies and are eager to do it. And then a whole nother layer where people who have received pardons, they don't even do it yet, but they know Trump is a ruthless madman. So, I don't know, maybe you better get a lawyer and figure out your exposure or think about things. That costs money. That costs stress. So, to me, the bottom line here is it's a laughable claim. There's no way that it could ever, and unless we're in a full-on authoritarian society and he can just write out, be it declared, blah, 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 that Tuesday is Wednesday, whatever the maximum leader wants. It'll never fly, but it doesn't matter. It's still no joke because it will nevertheless help make his political enemies' lives miserable, help force them to spend money, make them lose sleep, all the sort of nastiest things that he wants to do and will, never rest. I think, as long as he thinks there's some further way to do it. So, legally, I joke, beyond a joke, the jokiest thing he's said so far in the last couple months. But practically, no joke, absolutely vicious and brutal and part and parcel of his endless, unquenchable thirst to just completely go after people who he sees as enemies deserving reprisal. So in that sense, you can't just laugh it off, and it's one other really ugly development. The second or third from this morning, say, and we'll see what the afternoon holds. This guy is completely run amok and unhinged and doing anything he can. Law be damned, he's not even thinking about the law. We are really in a bad place. Talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and other Talking Feds content, please take a second to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.